Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Redefine Your Life. Today, Faith and I have a special guest with us.
This is my cousin Sam. Her name is Samantha Scadden, and she has been my bestie like my whole life. We've always been super close. And I brought Sam on this journey with me right after I started because I noticed that I was beginning to change my life and make things better along my path in spiritualism. And so I got a hold of Sam and I was like, hey, I've got some crazy, cool, awesome stuff happening and you need to be a part of this. So she hopped on the beautiful spiritualism train with me, and we've just kind of been going along and learning together and teaching each other things every day as we grow. And Sam has developed some awesome gifts, which are being a psychic medium and becoming the Grim Reaper and helping through life and death. And I find that so fascinating. So our first question today for you, Sam, is going to be, if money didn't matter and we lived in a society where your worth was not valued through money, how would you make your contributions to society? What would your job be?
I would definitely do something with animals. I've always had an interest in animals, and I like people, but like animals are
where it's at.
Yeah.
If you wanted to share one thing with the world, what would your message be?
Well, when I was younger, before I knew about my gifts, I always was afraid of the dark because I felt always watched.
Mm-hmm.
And so that being said, my message would be not to be afraid and not to, of the dark because you feel like you're being watched, because you might just have a beautiful gift.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that that's very true. I know I was always terrified of the dark when I was growing up too. I slept with the lights on every night until I was about 16 because I was so terrified of the dark and struggling with sleep paralysis and things like that. And I'm so thankful to spiritualism for giving me that part of myself that I didn't even know that I had, that I could sleep with the lights off and not be afraid of the dark and just be this bold, confident woman. Like there is nothing to be afraid of. So I love that message, and thank you for sharing that. When do you feel the most in your power?
I will definitely be when I'm connected with spirit or with animals or people that are passing, when their spirit is lifting. When they're passing, I can just feel their spirit lifting before they pass completely. So when that happens, I just feel very connected. And then, so with my grandpa, when he's around, that especially, I feel very connected. And in my house, because they all come to me, spirits in general. And in my shower, especially, because you're very, I guess, open to receiving, because you're very vulnerable.
And just time. In that autopilot, just clear mind, not really thinking about anything. Yeah, being open completely.
Yeah, so that's when they really come at you. And especially in my bedroom, because of the lady in my dresser, wardrobe, whatever you want to call her or call it. We got my boyfriend and I got a free bed set, and
a very nice, expensive, old, solid oak wood, gorgeous detailing and everything, for free. Could you imagine that? Just this nice, beautiful set just given to you. But little did Sam know.
Yeah, the wardrobe, my wardrobe, because he got the other stuff, but I opened it immediately. You don't have to open it. You just have to show up at my house and but if you open it, she's there. And now I open it for her to breathe, actually now she doesn't even have to have it open because she just feels so welcome. So she just hangs out in my room and does what she does and stands in the corner,
I know that damn corner.
She just chills and she just watches me, and she's a nice lady.
Yeah.
I don't know. She's slowly giving me more information.
Absolutely.
So do you feel like she presented to you, or do you feel like that happened, that gift was given to you, the dresser, to help this woman?
Well, I feel like she attached herself to that wardrobe for a reason, because I mean, well, it's beautiful, first of all. And second of all, I don't know if she wants help or if she's just, she definitely has never been able to like communicate with someone, because she just is like very standoffish at first, and she slowly, well, she recognizes that I can see her and feel her and communicate with her, but she is very standoffish. But when I first got it, I was so excited to show Faith. I was like, you have to meet my lady. And she's just slowly, I'm getting more information. So I mean, I don't know currently, but like maybe eventually she'll let me in. Slowly she's been moving closer to me, and I'm waiting for her to like lean into me and show me her life story.
Do you want to explain to her like how that happens to you and how that's happened in the past?
I had a spirit come up to me. I was laying in bed, and I was actually trying to go to sleep, but she came up to me and she just leaned into me and touched me, and she just showed me her whole life. And like, it was just like a video in my head, and I was her in this scenario, but she showed me everything, and that's all she wanted. She just wanted me to see her life story, and after that she left. That was it.
I just got chills.
So she was going to do that the other day, but I felt really sick and gross, so I asked her to not, and she respected that, so that was really nice. But now I'm just waiting for her to come back and
want to show you again.
Yeah, she's just waiting. She's watching and being a good lady.
She's very nice though. I really don't get any kind of bad vibes or anything from her.
They say majority are just like these mischievous, you know, they mess with things, but they're really harmless.
She actually doesn't do anything. She's just there.
She's just like, hi guys.
She walks back and forth and she's just there.
But speaking of mischievous spirits, Sam and I decided to go to Lilydale the other day. If you don't know, Lilydale is a spiritual community where I think that they have like 50 something psychics on their roster that just live there, like psychic mediums who are residents of this community, and it's gated. So they have a summer season where you have to go in and like pay to walk around and see the psychics. And they have this beautiful thing there called Inspiration Stump. And so I was really excited to take Sam there. And with her developing her gifts and being a medium, I was like, oh, this is a perfect opportunity. And like, we can go walk by the pet cemetery and see if you can make a connection or anything and try to grow your gifts. So that was what we set out to do. And we accidentally ended up bringing bringing a lady home with us. We sat in all these benches that surround the Inspiration Stump. And that's where the mediums will speak. They'll stand up on top of the stump and they'll give mass readings to the crowds that come there. Just whoever comes through, you know how it goes. And so we were sitting in the front row and nobody was there. It's not in season currently. So it was just us there. And we just kind of closed our eyes and got into a little bit of a open-minded, meditative, relaxed state and just saw what came through to us. And I don't consider myself to be a medium. So I was very surprised when I got my elbow about ripped off. And I felt someone like walk up to me and just like try to pull me around. And I was like, what is this? Like, this is really weird. And then she tried to give me her name and all I got was an M. And I was like, it's something weird. It's something different, something I'm not familiar with. And it starts with an M. I'm like, I've got M-E. I was like, maybe it's like a Megan, but I know it's not Megan. And then it came to me, Medina. And then I turned around and I looked at the bench that I was sitting on and it had her name wrote on it. And her last name was Medina. And that was the first name that was on that plaque. So I was like, okay.
Well, my bench was, I don't remember their names. This stump, it's for mediums. And I just felt like I wasn't worthy to touch it yet, if that makes sense. And I felt called to my bench. And I went over there and I sat there and I was just, getting into like a meditative state and just chilling. And I felt this two spirits that were there. Well, there was 3 people on that bench, but I was just chilling, waiting for them to come. And I'm like, you guys can touch me. And I always do the symbol of life. And that's just what came to me. And I've always done it. So, and I was just like, you guys can touch me. And I was just put my hands out and they're just poking my hand. And it was almost like they're like, you're a baby medium. Cause I'm still,
You're just like, what is this?
I'm still learning. And then after that, I was like, oh, I can touch this stump now. Like I felt like I was worthy because it was like a test.
A little bit of that imposter syndrome type of thing coming through. And they're like, hey, it's yeah, you
and
got
when
it.
I was doing, after they poked me, because it was both, there was two, it was a man and a woman. They were just trying to come in at the same time. So I was like flashing back and forth their faces. And I'm like, okay. And then they left. And after that, I went and I touched the stump and it was a lot of energy just pulsating through my bones, all through my body. And then what's her name? Medina. She came over because Faith was still sitting on her bench and she grabbed my arm. Grabbed my arm. And she's like, you need to come over here.
Yeah, like pulled her to me.
And I just knew I needed to touch Faith so she could see everything else. I couldn't see it. That wasn't my message. I could feel it. I just couldn't see. So I needed to give her the energy or the
power to
see it all.
She grabbed onto my hand. I didn't even know, my eyes were closed, and like I knew that she was coming over to sit by me, but also I could feel that she was right behind me, the Medina woman, and she actually grabbed a piece of my hair on this side and like curled it around, and I could feel her like playing with my hair. So as soon as Sam grabbed onto my hand, I could see her standing there like clear as day right in front of me, and then I started crying because she was upset, and that was the emotion that she was giving me. And so I was like, why am I crying? I was like, this is ridiculous. I just feel like I want to bawl my eyes out right now. I would say that my gift is claircognizance. So I get these messages like directly brought to my head, and it's like I clearly know the answer without a doubt in my mind what something is. And so I heard her tell me something along the lines of like, I could feel her emotions, and I knew that she was struggling and that she needed help and that something was wrong and out of place there, that she was strong enough to reach out to me and try to find some sort of help. So I did want to talk to you about your relationship with your grandpa. I know you mentioned him earlier, and I feel like it's very important to put that out into the world specifically, because I feel like he is responsible for starting you beginning to grow that gift of being a medium.
Well, I guess the biggest thing that happened that was, well, obviously I'm never going to forget it, was the time he touched my face. Anytime he is near me, I instantly know, like my whole body just tingles. I know instantly. I don't have to see him. I feel him. I mean, you just have the instant connection with some spirits. And sometimes I smell him, sometimes I see him, but I always feel him. And when he showed up, actually a song that reminds me of him was playing, and I just was bawling because he passed obviously, and I was sad that day. And he showed up. I'm gonna try and do this without crying. He showed up as he does, and I put my hand on my face because I was really upset, and he just walked over and he placed his hand on the other side of my face, and that was life-changing. So that was a huge moment for me, and that was probably close to 2 years ago now.
There was this ritual that I was doing. It was a full moon ritual where we had all the candles laid out, and we did the circle of life spread, and it was just to sit with the moon and feel at peace. And my goal was to ask the moon to help shine the light on my path of developing my gifts. This was also about 2 years ago, and as soon as I asked for the gift to grow in my claircognizance, as soon as I opened my eyes and looked up from the candle, I looked at Sam. She was sitting directly in front of me, and I saw him standing behind her with his hand on her shoulder, just like this. And I saw him there, and he looked at peace, and he looked content and happy, and it was still I think about it and I'm like covered in goosebumps because he's definitely there. He's a very clear part of your life. And I think that that's beautiful.
He's definitely one of my guardians.
I was going to say, it sounds like he is
He's like
amongst your spirit guides. Yeah. Either in your spirit guides or amongst your guardian angels watching over you and helping guide you.
I was just very glad that I got to witness that as well.
And he was also there with how do you say it? Reiki, is that right?
Reiki.
Yeah, he came and when we did that, he was the one who worked on me with you.
Oh yeah. I do remember that session. We did a session, distance session with Sam. And when I opened the container for the Reiki session, and she told me this afterwards, but she felt the presence of some spirits come in, and I wouldn't be surprised if one of those
my
spirits
grandpa.
was your grandpa.
It was. As soon as he showed up, I knew. And I jumped because he touched me and I wasn't ready for it. But I mean, it was him.
I also kind of wanted to talk today about your adventures with your animals and your familiars, and like how I feel like that is another very strong gift that you have.
Lucifer was born in a house fire. His whole litter was. So he was a rescue. And he ended up having epilepsy really bad. So he was under a year old, but he passed in, an an epilepsy episode. So, I mean, it wasn't a bad thing that he passed. It just was unfortunate because he was so young and
very attached to you.
Yeah, he was my baby. He always needed me. He was always up my butt. And he just was very needy, I guess. And I loved him dearly. And then Ivy was also a rescue. She was actually thrown out at 4 weeks old in the snow. And so she was just a rescue. So she was the mother, not his mother, but like a mother figure. And she passed actually the next day. And I figured out, I know it in my heart and like I feel it in my soul, is that the reason she passed as well is because Lucifer needed the mother to help him like on his journey to
in the afterlife.
In the afterlife, because I wasn't there as his mother to do that. And he needed me as his mother constantly.
I just could not understand for the life of me why Ivy had to go too, and then making that connection that it was because he needed her to walk him through the door to the afterlife. And I just got chills again.
Yeah, I figured that out pretty quickly. It just was still hard to
accept.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because losing both of them so quickly was just not an easy thing to go through. But I see Lucifer all the time. Ivy I see randomly. She was always just off in the distance doing whatever. But Lucy, always. I see him all the time. He rubs on me. He makes messes. He still wrecks my house sometimes.
Knocks things around. Yeah.
Yeah, but I see him all the time. And then the other night, my cats own my bed. So they're just laying on my bed. And Diablo, one of my other cats, was laying on the corner of my bed. And I was just putting stuff away. And my lady in the dresser was chilling in the corner of the room like she does, just watching. And I walked by and I just pet Diablo. And I took one step and I realized I didn't pet Diablo. I pet Lucifer. I felt his presence. I felt, well, he was long haired, and I just felt everything that was Lucifer. And I smiled and I just said thank you, because I never expected to ever like touch him again, because I knew I could, or they can touch me. I knew that, but I never knew or expected to be able to touch him or any kind of spiritual being in general. But his whole presence, the energy, the feel, it was Lucifer 110%, and it was amazing.
It's just one of those things that you just know.
Yeah,
just like with the claircognizance thing, it's just like the answer is just there immediately without a doubt or a question.
Yeah, I feel like what makes animals so special is that, as much as people can be like, oh, it's just a dog, or it's just a cat, or it's just a fish, or whatever animal it is that is your pet. You know, it's like at the end of the day, though, as humans and connecting to other souls on the earth, the connection is only as strong and as deep as we allow and as we open up to it. You know, so you might have an animal that you're like, well, it's my companion and it's my dog and he's stupid or whatever. Like whatever you're projecting onto your animal, like it might not be the truth of your actual animal. You have to be open to all of the energetic almost wisdom that our animals provide. They don't speak to us in the same way that people do. Sure, they're not sophisticated intellectually like we are as people. They don't have the ability to speak and make cognitive thoughts, but like that doesn't mean that there isn't an inherent intelligence in the animals and that they don't have something to provide for us. And I was listening to you talk, and it was so interesting how you said your animal connected with the spirit of your other animal. And I was like, wow, like that actually, like something clicked in my mind with my cat, where I was having a really rough day last week when I came home from work, and I just like emotionally was just exhausted, you know. And my cat is very much a cat, so she can be a bitch and she can be really nice and cuddly sometimes too. But you know, like she has her moments of, I want to be your companion and leave me alone, I'm sick of you,
how that is.
But exactly. So she actually she gets attitude because I'm not around and stuff like that. But then as soon as she can tell that I'm energetically off, the attitude like goes out the window, and she's just kind of like around to like comfort me. And she can actually tell when we're really stressed out. So I got home and I was so stressed out, and she was actually like, she seemed stressed out too. And I was just like, why is my cat so stressed out? Like she's just been home all day. Like she's a cat. She just sleeps all day. Like what is there to be stressed about? But I really think that she was absorbing some of my energy and helping me move through that the way that my dog used to. And sometimes she'll sleep with me in the bed, but she never usually sleeps like on me. It's just like near me. And that night she slept. I sleep on my belly sometimes, and I like have my leg bent, and she slept in like the nook of my knee where my dog always slept every single night, like when I was growing up. And it was like so comforting. And like I finally fell asleep. I was like kind of like soft sobbing in the bed, like just like,
like
really crying.
The dog was projecting through your cat.
Like I felt exactly. And it was really weird because I was like, you know, like for a while I used to think, oh, maybe my cat is like my dog's soul reincarnate, but that can't be the case because they were alive at the same time.
Oh yeah.
Like that can't be the case necessarily, but what you just said makes a lot of sense, because then maybe that's what that moment was, where I felt my dog's spirit through my cat. And I was just like, what? Like, so that was amazing. Thank you so much for sharing that, because you just a little light bulb moment for me.
That's beautiful. The last thing that I really wanted to make sure that we talk about is becoming the Reaper. This is my favorite thing ever. It's the most special thing to me because I've never heard of anybody having this gift before of like being a death doula and having that natural, like you can learn how to become a death doula and like take the classes for like hospice. For that would be a death doula position, but having it as a gift, I've never. Sam, tell the story. I'm getting worked up.
Well, I feel like I've always just been able to feel it, like when people or animals are dying, I just feel like they're soul lifting, but it's really become very noticeable. And like when I arrive somewhere and say someone's pet just died, and I don't know it as a fact, but I arrive there, I know. I just step out of the vehicle, I instantly know. And I mean, that could be part of being a medium as well, but in general, I know. But I just had a litter of puppies and 3 runts that weren't very healthy, but they didn't make it in the end. But we tried. And when I held them when they were dying, and I was trying to get them to obviously make it, but anytime they were starting to pass, every single one of them, I mean, the worst part about it is you have to be there and you feel the suffering, but every single time one would start to go, I would feel the soul lifting. And then when I feel the soul lifting, I know, so that I'm just there to or just keep them calm and be there to be their peace,
supporting them,
supporting
the transition.
So the worst part about it is just, you got to be there, and watch them suffer. But
Yeah, she was texting me every time that she knew when she felt that moment, and then it was like within an hour they were gone.
Yeah,
And that
it's really
was,
tough.
yeah. Yeah, and I told Sam that I feel like even though she had to go through this horrible, really sad, awful thing with them, I feel like it was in part to teach her and help her grow and like be actually hands-on and be
definitely,
that gate, that portal, that
Yeah.
person that transfers them to the next life.
I feel like every single time something happens like that, I feel more, or well, stronger, I guess, in a sense. I feel more energized and connected. It's just unfortunate that has to happen to
Yeah.
grow.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But I feel like as the Reaper doesn't see this, he sees all of the sides to it. You can't just like help through a supportive, good
Yeah.
death, like in a natural way. Like sometimes there are like what we struggled with and we talked about is that it felt like they were born just to die.
Mhm.
And I feel like as the Reaper, that was a part of it.
Right.
And something that she had to see and go through to embody that.
Yeah, there's
Absolutely.
always a balancing of these lives, and
Mhm.
you're right. It's sad because we are attached to the idea of life, and I think because we are such grateful beings to be here and to have this life, that sometimes to feel the suffering of something else, another animal, another person, and to see the life force leaving can be gut-wrenchingly sad, right? But
Yeah.
like you said, reminding yourself that you're growing through this and for a reason to help you become better capable, better equipped to help people who are suffering more
Yeah.
to do so peacefully and to find peace in the process of dying, because becoming accepting of death is one of the hardest things that we do as humans, I think,
Yeah.
because we always want to bargain for more time.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm doing a pretty good job accepting it, because anytime, well, I'm a farm girl and I've grown up on it. And my aunt recently lost one of her goats. And I mean, I've done this for a long time, but I tell her, or she had a baby goat born the same day. And I said that with death is new life becomes, a new beginning. And that is exactly what happens with death is new life every
Mhm.
single time.
And honoring a life for it being a life, no matter how long it was on the earth.
Yeah.
And truly just, right? Oh, goosebumps, but just like,
yeah.
right? Like really honoring that, like, even, I mean, it's so sad when I hear stories about like, mothers delivering stillborn babies and just like different types of things where it's just like you said, it feels like this thing was born to die. But like, aren't we all born to die?
Yeah. In
It's
a way.
just all a matter of time of when it happens, right?
Right.
And how much we experience before that. So maybe the fact that you
What
gave those
purpose?
creatures, right, like you gave those creatures compassion and love while they were going through the transition of life to death, even though it was a short time on this earth. I think that was what was beautiful about your gift in that situation.
Yeah. When I was younger, I was sleeping at the time, so I didn't even see it happen. But my sister and I shared a room, and my brother was next to me, or like in the room next to us. And I think he was going to the bathroom or something, but he got up and either he went to the bathroom and came back, or like on his way to the bathroom. But he looked in our room, and over top of me was a Grim Reaper just standing there. Well, I guess floating and just looking at me. And then all of a sudden, he just went into me. And I mean, I don't remember it happening, obviously, because I was sleeping, and obviously he was terrified, but like that was one thing that happened. And like putting all these things together just makes so much sense. And then the other thing that happened when I was younger, also don't remember how old I was, but I was really sick and I had like a fever. My mom was trying to get it down. I don't know how high it was, but I was really sick. And I guess my Uncle Howard just died. I saw him and he came in to the room and he was like, okay, it's time to go. And I was talking to him and she just started freaking out and she's like, no, don't go. And he was just trying to take my hand and have me go with him. And she's like, no, don't go into the light. And she was just freaking out and crying, bawling, obviously, because she didn't want me to go. And all that was one of the other things. And just all the spirits that we grew up with, because like my family farm, we have tons of family spirits that are there, and we've always seen them there. And as a young kid in the barn at night,
Yeah.
there was always a white spirit that would run around scaring the crap out of us.
Mm-hmm. It was awful.
And oh my God, I would not go in there at all at night unless I had a flashlight or I'd turn the light on real quick.
Mm-hmm.
And we wouldn't look at the barn at night. Now
would
knowing
cry.
it's fine, but like that,
You know, as kids.
and then the house, but like everything's fine. They're good spirits. We know now.
Well,
but
as
like,
anybody who doesn't know what you don't know,
Exactly.
you're of course going to be a little bit like, what the hell is that? You know,
Right.
and then once you understand, you're kind of like, well, okay. And then there comes the acceptance.
Right. Exactly. It's like the 5 stages of grief.
right, at least now we know, and we can teach our children, and like, don't be
Yes.
afraid. You're good. They're good.
Yeah. Teach them how to protect themselves, teach them
Yeah.
how to be
Yes.
loving to all spirits. And, you know, it kind of teaches us to be loving to people too. I feel like when
Mhm.
you're, yeah. Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah. That's very
Yeah,
true.
because I feel like the first step of being into spirituality is loving yourself,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Mhm.
and then start your journey.
Yeah, exactly. That's like learning how to treat yourself and respect yourself, and then learning how to treat other people the same way that you treat yourself. And I
For
feel
sure.
like that's what drew me into it.
Yeah, you don't know what's going on in their life.
Mhm.
Well, we're all connected. I mean, you
Yeah.
are just another version of the embodiment of this human existence, right? So
Mhm.
really, if I'm loving myself, it's also loving you because we're connected.
Mhm.
And loving you is loving me, right? Loving your dog is loving you. And
Love for everyone.
Well, that is wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing everything, Sam, and for being here with us. I think, you know, you gave me a couple light bulb moments, so I hope you do the same for some listeners out there. If there's anything else you'd like to add, if not, thank you guys so much for joining us, and we hope to see you soon.
Thank you for having me.
Anytime.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks, guys, for coming. We appreciate you and we love you, and we will see you in the next episode.